touchdown. The ultimate in pigskin perfection is attained by Johnny Unitas and Raymond Berry in the 1960 Pro Bowl Classic. Practice, practice, and more practice made Johnny Unitas professional football's Player of the Year. The Unitas to Berry combination was the result of two dedicated perfectionists. San Francisco's Howard Red Hickey, head coach of the Western Conference All-Stars, briefs Unitas and Berry on their pass patterns and watches with pleasure as this Baltimore Colt combo clicks like a clock. As defensive ends, the West will have Baltimore's Gino the Giant Marchetti on the left and Doug Atkins of the Chicago Bears. Detroit's Jim David, number 25, and Green Bay's Bill Forrester fortify the West defensive secondary. Across town football's Silver Fox, Buck Shaw of the Philadelphia Eagles oversees the Eastern All-Stars. Pittsburgh quarterback Bobby Lane will direct the Eastern offense. Since Norm Van Brocklin is out with the flu, Lane will have to go all the way. From the Chicago Cardinals comes Jerry Norton, whose 65-yard punt in 1958 stands as a Pro Bowl record. Eastern linebackers include John of the Pittsburgh Steelers, rough, tough Sam Huff, the Bulwark, and the Cleveland Browns' Walt Michaels. Paul Schisler, general manager of the Pro Bowl, greets the New York Giants' Frank Gifford. Last year, Gifford won the Pro Bowl's Outstanding Player Award. The day of the game is warm and clear, and the huge Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum throws its gates open as some 57,000 football fans gather to gaze on the glorious array of gridiron greats ever assembled. This is the 10th renewal of the All-Star Pro Bowl Classic, and each year the game has grown in stature and importance. Its history rings with the names of such football immortals as Otto Graham, Doak Walker, Glenn Davis, Johnny Lou Jack, Bob Waterfield, and many others. The Pro Bowl is sponsored by the Los Angeles Newspaper Publishers Association, and the proceeds of the Classic are donated to charity. The West leads the series 5 victories to 4. In 1955, Buck Shaw coached the West to a win, but today, Shaw will be bucking for the East. A double-barrel barrage of quarterbacking talent featuring Y.A. Tittle of San Francisco and Baltimore's Johnny Unitas spells double trouble for the East. Western pass receivers include Del Schaffner of the Los Angeles Rams, the Colts' Lenny Moore, and the league's leading receiver, also from the Baltimore Colts, Raymond Berry. The Bears' rugged Rick Casares will supply inside running power, while the Rams' John Arnett looms as the West's best breakaway threat. The East will counter with Cleveland's Jim Brown, the league's leading rusher. Halfback John Crow of the Chicago Cardinals runs well to either the inside or the outside. From Washington comes fullback Don Bossler, the Redskins' leading ground gainer. In Philadelphia's Tommy McDonald, the East has one of the league's finest slot backs. If necessary, Frank Gifford can Spillane at quarterback. The Pro Bowl is carried coast to coast over NBC, and millions of armchair quarterbacks look on as Western co-captains Gino Marchetti and number 19 Johnny Unitas meet the Eastern leaders Bobby Lane and number 80 Andy Robustelli. The East wins the toss and will receive. For the West, 33 players from 6 different teams unite to uphold the prestige of their conference. It's game time. Green Bay's Paul Hornung kicks off, and here we go with the 10th annual All-Star Pro Bowl Classic. Jim Brown carries the ball back to the 29-yard line where Doug Atkins applies the stopper. The East picks up the game's first down on a Bobby Lane pass to the Redskins' Bill Anderson, who makes a fine diving catch at midfield. Lane sets to throw again. Bobby's safety valve toss is taken by Frank Gifford, who reaches the West 46. But that's the end of the line for the East as the Western defense holds firm. Jerry North punt formation, angles his kick for the coffin corner. The ball bounces and goes out of bounds at the 15-yard line. The flu bug has forced the East to switch defensive end Ernie Slotner, number 72, to offensive guard. Johnny Unitas, quarterbacking the West, attempts his first pass of the game. Del Schaffner gets his hands on the pass. He can't. Right now it's anybody's ball. The Giants' Jim Patton grabs it and he's off to the races. Patton goes 22 yards for a touchdown. The underdog East takes the upper hand while Patton gets a glad hand from his teammates. Reliable Lou Groza adds the extra point, and the East leads the West 7-0. Coach Red Hickey outlines battle plans with Field General Johnny Unitas. The East puts the ball in play with Lou Groza kicking off. Abe Woodson of the 49ers brings the ball out to the 24-yard line. John Arnett threads his way through the eastern forward wall to give the West a first down at the 35. Johnny Unitas, who led the Colts to their second consecutive World's Championship, completes his first pass, a 13-yarder to Del Schaffner. The partisan West Coast crowd comes to its feet as John Arnett skirts the right flank on a twisting 19-yard advance. Unitas has the Westerners rolling, and Johnny keeps them on the move with a toss to Del Schaffner that's good for a first down on the East 22. Afforded fine protection, Unitas steps into the passer's pocket and pitches a perfect strike to Raymond Berry. This same Unitas to Berry combination clicked for 959 yards and 14 touchdowns during the past season, and now it puts the West back in the ball game. Paul Horning's placement splits the uprights as the West rallies to square the count at 7-all. Eastern defenders look on as their teammates bid to regain the lead, but there's sorry news in store for them. Bobby Lane's pass is picked off by linebacker Bill George of the Chicago Bears. The West takes over in scoring territory, while the East's offensive unit retires to the sidelines. The Miller High Life slow motion camera highlights the action here, and that's John Arnett with the ball. Arnett, number 26, looks for a receiver as Walt Michaels fights off a block by Ray Berry. Michaels breaks through, but Arnett gives him the slip. Before the East can corral him, Arnett goes for a 9-yard gain. It's 3rd and 1 for the West as Unitas calls the play. On a quarterback sneak, Johnny gets the first down easily. Defense comes to the fore, and the West is foiled as a Unitas pass is batted away from Lenny Moore by Lyndon Crow. It's 4th and 8, and Red Hickey sends his field goal unit into action. Dave Baker spots the ball, Paul Horning kicks it, and the West takes the lead by a 10-7 score. For the 3rd time in the first quarter, Horning slams his foot into the football. 3 yards deep in the end zone, Jim Brown fields the kickoff, and the burly Cleveland fullback charges out to the 27-yard line. Bobby Lane calls the numbers and hands off to Frank Gifford. Gifford tries to turn the end, but he's bounced out of bounds after a short gain. Lane drops back to throw. Tommy McDonald is open, but the ball never gets to him. Detroit's Joe Schmidt steals it, and once more the West gains possession deep in Eastern territory. Coaches Buck Shaw and Nick Skorich are unhappy, to say the least. That's Y.A. Tittle at quarterback, pitching out to Rick Casares. Rick finds running room as he stampedes down to the East's 15-yard line. On the bench, a bewildered Bobby Lane waits for a chance to redeem himself. Tittle tosses on target to Del Schaffner. A shoe-top stop by Tom Brookshire drops Schaffner at the 9-yard line, where the first quarter ends with the West leading the East 10-7. The West can go no further, and on the first play of the second period, Paul Horning attempts a 15-yard field goal. It's no good, and the ball goes over to the East. The Eastern offense goes right to work. Lane lobs a short pass to John Crow, and the hard-running halfback gets 14 yards before Eric Barnes drops him. Lane has found a flaw in the defense. He calls the play to exploit it, and here it comes. Bobby drops straight back as Tommy McDonald streaks downfield. Lane cuts loose a towering toss. Tommy tucks it in and takes off to complete a super-duper 63-yard touchdown. No, there's nothing wrong with the projector. We're bringing the ball back to run this play again. It's a classic example of teamwork and timing, and it bears out the saying, there's no football like pro football. Excellent protection allows Lane to launch his missile. It sails downrange and on schedule to McDonald. When the fallout clears, we find the East in front. A vindicated Bobby Lane is afforded a hero's welcome, as is Tommy McDonald. Across the field, Les Richter and Coach Bill Johnson ponder a defense for the play that put the East on top, 14-10. As underdogs, the East won last year's Pro Bowl. They're out in front again, so the West will have to come from behind. John Arnett puts the Western Conference All-Stars on the comeback trail with a 21-yard kickoff return. Y.A. Tittle takes his team to the air as he throws up and out to Billy Wilson for a 6-yard gain. West Coast rooters roar for more as they see Tittle riddle the East with pinpoint passes. Del Schaffner shags this one, and it's worth a handsome 39 yards. On a trap play, Rick Casares sprung loose for a 5-yard pickup. But a 15-yard penalty erases the gain and moves the ball back to the East 44. Part of the penalized yardage is recaptured by the West on the strength of a screen pass from Tittle to Casares that nets 9 yards. The slow-motion camera gives us a close look at Y.A. Tittle's football finesse. In case you're wondering, the Y.A. is short for Yale Burton Abraham. His teammates call him Colonel Slick or the Bald Eagle. Call him what you may, the 12-year veteran proves he still knows what to do with the football. It's 3rd and 9 on the East 30. The West needs a big play here, and Tittle gets it with a perfect pass to Billy Wilson that's good for a big first down. Buck Shaw, Tittle's former coach, knows that when Y.A. is right, he can do no wrong. Right now, a red-hot Tittle reaches the boiling point. Lenny Moore wraps up his pass, shakes off Lyndon Crow, and over he goes for a touchdown. In a topsy-turvy tilt, the lead changes hands for the 4th time, and Horning makes the tally total to West 17, East 14. Following the kickoff, the East bids to move out of danger. John Crow carries Lane's shovel pass out to the 20-yard line. Lane sends Crow this way. He needs 6 yards for a first down, but he gets only 5 as the Western defenders drive him out of bounds. The East will have to kick, and Jerry Norton's punt is a beauty. It travels some 65 yards through the air to John Arnett. Norton's booming boot dooms Arnett to a short return as Jim Schrader makes the tackle. Johnny Unitas is back under center for the West, and the Pros' fearless passer gets a fast first down with a 10-yard toss to John Arnett. Unitas, who is rewriting the passing records of the National Football League, performs to perfection. A lead pass to Lenny Moore, and it's Katie bar the door as Moore and Unitas unite on a scintillating 65-yard touchdown strike. During the regular season, Moore caught 47 passes for 846 yards and 6 touchdowns. In so doing, Lenny helped Unitas set a league record of 32 touchdown passes in 1 year. By virtue of Moore's TD, the West now leads the East 24-14. Less than 5 minutes remain in the first half as Paul Horning kicks off to the East. Jimmy Brown, who's had a tough time running against this rock-ribbed Western defense, brings the ball back to the 24-yard line. Make it 2nd and 8 now for the East as Lane fades to pass. Bobby's plans are altered. He ducks through the middle, but fumbles. Bob Schnelker makes a key recovery, and the East retains possession. Rushed hard by Bill Forrester, Lane manages to pick up a first down with a 10-yard flip to Jimmy Orr. Lane is looking for the long gainer, but Bobby misses the mark on 3 consecutive pass plays, and once again, the East is forced into a kicking situation. Jerry Norton powers the pigskin all the way to the West 11, where it's taken by John Arnett. Arnett appears to be boxed in. A quick juke, and John's out of one jam, but into another. A strategic retreat allows for interference to form. A burst of speed, and Arnett turns the corner. The sideline route is blocked by Don Bosler. Arnett shakes him, but after a 32-yard return, he's caught from behind by John Nisby. Now begins a race against time. Unitas starts with a screen pass to J.D. Smith, who carries the ball across the 50. Unitas has 90 seconds in which to move 49 yards. John's down-and-out pass is complete to Raymond Berry on the East 40. A studious Red Hickey sees the seconds disappear. Unitas looks for Lenny Moore, but with the East defense falling back, Johnny takes matters into his own hands and sets out on foot. 23 yards later, Unitas is slammed out of bounds by Sam Huff on the East 17. 40 seconds to go now as Unitas fires another strike to Raymond Berry and then races upfield to call a timeout at the 6-yard line. There's no stopping Johnny Unitas. The brilliant Baltimore quarterback fools the East with a swing pass to J.D. Smith, and the play goes all the way. With his 3rd TD pass of the game, Unitas sets a new Pro Bowl record, while the West pulls away to a commanding 31-14 advantage. After the kickoff, there's time for just one more play, and you can be sure that Lane will be shooting the works. Bobby unfurls a 46-yarder. Jimmy Orr makes a great grab on the West 27, but the gun goes off, ending the first half with the East trailing the West 31-14. A colorful halftime spectacle allows spectators to relax and rehash the highlights of this exciting battle. The Pro Bowl players are selected by a vote of the coaches in their respective conferences. There's an $800 payday in store for each member of the victorious team. The losers receive $600. But the big winner in every Pro Bowl classic is the charity fund of the Los Angeles Newspaper Publishers Association. Luke Rosa, who's appeared in 9 of the 10 Pro Bowl games, kicks off for the East to begin the second half. John Arnett reels off a 25-yard run back before he's dropped by Walt Michaels. Johnny Unitas, passer par excellence, starts the West rolling again on a 10-yard completion to Del Schaffner. With Lenny Moore flanked right, the East looks out for the look-in pass, but they can't stop it as Lenny latches onto another 9-yard gainer. On a crossbuck, John Arnett clicks off 6 yards before Andy Robustelli and Tom Brookshire put an end to his advance. The slant pass, a specialty of Johnny Unitas and Lenny Moore, gives the West a first down on the East 34. The Eastern defense asserts itself. Arnett fails in his bid to turn the end as Walt Michaels rolls him out of bounds. When a penalty makes it 4th and 12, Paul Horning enters to attempt a 43-yard field goal. Paul's try flies awry, and the East takes over. Defensive tackle Bob Gain, looking like an animated mummy, takes timeout to tape up. Spearheaded by Gino Marchetti, Bill George, and Big Daddy Lipscomb, a sturdy and stingy Western defense stops Jim Brown cold. This time, Doug Atkins does the damage by dumping Lane for a long loss. Their offense at a standstill, the Easterners put punting specialist Jerry Norton to work. Norton's 49-yarder goes to John Arnett. After a collision with Abe Woodson, Arnett is nailed by John Crow at the West 38. Our Miller High Life sideline camera records the congested conditions which confront John Arnett. It's 2nd and 6, and Unitas is going to pass. Despite pressure aplenty, Johnny gets the ball away. Del Schaffner is open, but he can't handle the pass, and the East breathes a sigh of relief. Undaunted by that last play, Unitas and Schaffner come right back and combine to collect 12 yards and a first down. With nary a receiver in sight, Johnny Unitas, a thinking man's quarterback, filters through the spread-out defense for a first down on the East 28. Offensive aces Tommy McDonald and Frank Gifford take hope as the East defense stems the Western tide. On 3rd and 7, Unitas calls a screen pass. Walt Michaels sees it coming and charges in to smear J.D. Smith for a 5-yard loss. Back at the bench, Unitas queries Billy Wilson on their pass patterns as the West lines up in field goal formation. Horning will be kicking from the 37-yard line. He has the distance, but not the direction, and a scoreless third period ends with the West still leading the East by a 31-14 count. Defensive coach Jerry Williams issues instructions for a final fourth quarter fling. Held without a first down in this half, the East machine begins to move as Don Bossler takes a Bobby Lane pass for a short gain. Adding fuel to the fire, Lane loops a pass to Jimmy Orr, who fans the flame for a fast 44 yards. Emlyn Tunnell finally snuffs out the spark on the West 31. Bobby Lane, one of football's fine competitors, shoots for the jackpot. But the shot misfires when McDonald muffs it, a sight you seldom see. On a reverse, John Crow carries to the far side where he loses his helmet and almost his head on a necktie tackle by Bill Forrester. John Crow retaliates while giving the East something to crow about as he darts away on a dandy play that rocks the West way back to its 3-yard line. Crow is doing yeoman's work, but as he tries to go outside, he's spittled on a fine open field tackle by Eric Barnes. A penalty against the West awards the East a first down and sets up a howl from head coach Hickey. After 3 plays fail, the East finally finds the answer. It's a swing pass Lane to Jim Brown that goes for a touchdown, and it closes the gap to West 31, East 21. Number 42, John Crow, who set up the score, enjoys a breather as the West puts the ball in play. With 6 minutes remaining, Y.A. Tittle isn't standing pat. Colonel Slick teams with Rugged Rick on a screen pass, and the big bear back goes for a gain of 15 yards. Tittle calls another screen pass, and we get a violent worm's eye view of National Football League action. Casares has the ball, and when the dust finally settles, the West has a 9-yard gain. It'll be 4th and 1 for the West. Will they play it safe and punt? No, they're going for the first down, and Casares gets it. The gamble pays off as the West keeps the ball. Given a fresh start, Tittle opens up the attack. YA rifles a strike to our net, and Jaguar John jets away on a 35-yard play. Once more, Tittle hits his target. Billy Wilson wraps up the pass, but Tom Brookshire wraps up Wilson on the East 16. YA bids to go all the way on a rollout pass play, but Walt Michaels, a standout player in the Eastern defense, tosses Tittle for a 3-yard loss. Tittle takes the East by surprise with a shovel pass to Paul Horning. Horning beats a rapid path down to the East 6-yard line. Leading scorer in the NFL, Paul Horning hammers out 4 more yards. Word from the press box states that Johnny Unitas has been named the game's outstanding player and Big Daddy Lipscomb the outstanding lineman. It's goal to go for the West, and that's where Horning is headed. Playing in his first Pro Bowl game, Horning tallies a touchdown to clinch a Western Conference victory. There's a Pro Bowl mark in the making if Horning can kick this conversion. He does, and with a touchdown, a field goal, and 5 extra points, a new scoring record is written by Green Bay's Paul Horning. With the battle over, hands are clasped in a gesture of good sportsmanship. The West proved best by conquering the East 38-21. For those who played and those who watched the 1960 Pro Bowl Classic will live as one of football's finest hours.